Hello guys, my name is Mahogany Fleming, singer, songwriter, entrepreneur, entertainer. So if you're watching this video, we are talking about the magician today. Today is the start of a new series of mine called Tarot Tuesdays, where we are incorporating the ability to create using inspiration from the tarot. And our first card is the Magician. I'm fascinated by the Magician card because as a musician, as an entertainer, as a singer, I have to tap into the energy of this card constantly to create, to find inspiration. You can literally spend months on one card. There's so much symbolism, numerology, alchemy. We're going to take a minute and we're going to look at the Magician card. And he has 4 elements on the table in front of him: earth, water, the chalice. Earth is the pentacle, the coin right here. The chalice is the cup. The sword, which is air, and the wand right here is fire. Pentacles represent down to earth, the earth. Earth pretty much holds everything. It's the nurturer. It is the hard worker. It is the intuitive. But I think that all the signs have the ability to be intuitive. It is grounded. It is hardworking. The water sign, which would be Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, my ascendant. The emotional aspect. This is pretty much what you want to think of in love. The sword represents the intellect, the communication. Swords back in these days, were hard to come by. Only the elite were allowed to have them. You had to be smart. You had to be in the upper class. Not everyone could afford the swords. You had to be smart. You had to be rich to have a sword. You had to be someone of higher level thinking. And the wands. The wands represent new life, passion. So pretty much in the entire deck, you'll see leaves sprouting on all the wands, which always is going to represent, here it is, in the 5 of Wands is leaves coming out of, which is always going to represent new life sprouting out. The Magician is represented by the number 1 in numerology. It's the aces in the tarot. So you'll have the Magician, you'll have the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, Ace of Chalices, and the Ace of Swords, which is always going to represent the beginning, pretty much something that comes from nothing, which is really interesting because it's not necessarily the beginning or the creation of something. It's pretty much something coming out of the darkness, not the darkness out of evil. Darkness meaning meditation, closing your eyes. Darkness meaning dreams. Darkness meaning searching within to find the truth of the matter, to get to the higher self. To me, when I look at this card, he's asking me, what is it that you want to create? So there's another deck that is pretty much just like this. They just have different perceptions. And the audience is in front of him. So my fingers are the audience in front of him. And he is holding the candle up. And to me, it just represents him asking you, what do you want to create? What kind of seed are you ready to sow? And that's really good because the only way that these things can be created is through the search and the journey within. The ability to create comes from within. You have to tap into one of the 4 elements to create. But before you have these elements, it's something from within your mind that it has to come into fruition. And that's what the Magician is all about. It's creating something from nothing. The magician is asking you to be receptive to divine inspiration. And how do we do that? We have the ability to do so when we search within. How can we be receptive? In order to do that, we have to meditate. It's simply being an observer of your thoughts, being above your thoughts. Someone amazing that I love so much on YouTube, her name is Valerie Love Kaisi, and she used this amazing analogy. And the analogy was, you're at a parade and your thoughts are the parade. And instead of going down the street with every thought that comes through your mind, you're sitting back and you're observing the thought and saying, that's a good idea. I'll get back to you later. But right now I am to be present with my children. I am here to be present with this song that I'm writing, and that thought is going to take me away from my child, from this experience that I'm having with my loved one right now. So I can't jump onto your bandwagon, but I'll see you down the road. That is what meditation is all about, not silencing your mind. There's another amazing person. His name is Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I strongly encourage you all to check him out. He talks about meditation and how a lot of times we hear that we need to silence the mind, and doing that is not the goal. Our frontal lobe is the latest addition, one of the latest additions to human anatomy. And because of that, it's still very immature. So it's hard to control. It's hard to figure out how to control this frontal lobe, this conscious part of our mind that is constantly going all the time. And he talks about how we need to learn how to meditate so that we can also be an observer of our thoughts. And ultimately, that is the goal. We don't need to turn our minds off. There's no way to do that. It's to just be present in every moment that you're in. And I believe that a lot of times while we don't want to be present, we don't want to search within and turn within, it's because we're afraid of what we may see. We're afraid of what may really be inside of us, or we're afraid of what may not be there. You are more amazing than you can imagine. I remember when I started this journey, I honestly thought I was the most boring person ever. Guys, I'm so fascinated by myself. I'm so in love with myself. I've learned so much about me. I protect me like I'm another person. That's the best way to explain it. I protect me like I'm somebody else. I don't allow certain things into my energy field. I don't allow certain things into my space. Everything has consciousness in the universe. Everything that you see is a vibration. It has consciousness. And so it's our job to feed that. And so those emotions that you feel, that depression that you feel, is a level of consciousness. It is consciousness that needs to be healed. The magician is also represented by the planet Neptune. If you don't know much about Neptune, Neptune is the god of the seas and also the unknown part of the sea. So I don't live by water, and I want to use the analogy of the forest because the forest is more tangible. Literally, deer are in my window every morning. So you guys can use the sea. I'm going to use the forest. My third eye shows me a forest. I always envision me walking through the dark woods at night and I don't see shit. And all I have is this candle. But I'm walking in the woods and I'm constantly coming against things. I don't know what they are, but I'm afraid. I'm scared. Well, first of all, let's talk about why we're afraid. The only thing causing us to be afraid is our egos. Our egos don't want us to turn within. Our egos don't want us to dive deeper into ourselves. It wants to go on the outside to search for things that we need on the inside. But we need to understand that everything that we ever could need starts within. It comes from within. We are the magician of our lives. We write our paths, our destiny. And so the magician controls his own life by putting his ego on the passenger side. The ego cannot be driving. The ego wants to be in control at all times because it is afraid of the unknown. And once you understand that, you are going to go so much deeper. Because once you understand that fear is just an illusion, the ego has to let go and relinquish control of your life, which means you can dive deep into who you are with no fear. Your ego is constantly looking for things to be afraid of, constantly looking for things to be on alert about, but that's its job. So you need to give your ego another job so that you can go deeper and dive deeper into yourself, dive into the sea, go into the woods, whatever the hell you want to say. You want to go on the journey to your higher self. Because when you do, you are going to tap into infinite creative possibilities, songs, food, music, artwork, whatever it is that you do, you're going to find it. There's your higher self, and then there's God. Your higher self is in direct connection, direct lines, like a direct line to God. And God will give you whatever creation you want. But a lot of times what happens is that we are afraid. We don't have enough time to search within. So emotionally, this card is associated with that part of you that feels emotions spontaneously. Or what I like to think of it as also when it comes to the creative aspect in songwriting, when you have to tap into a part of you that you haven't felt in a long time, that is going into the unknown realm to create something that is not fake, an illusion, is something real, something from a real experience. Spiritually, this card is telling you to go on to a journey that you may not have ever been on. Also, emotionally, it's telling you to not judge yourself for those random emotions that you feel. Maybe sometimes, I know me, like I feel stuff randomly. I don't know why. I will transmute that energy. That is a way of expressing yourself. Transmute the energy and write a song, whatever you can do. Use that energy, take advantage of it. Tap into energy that you want by going into realms and remembering emotions that you felt in the past. That is what the magician is all about. Creating, using your imaginations to create an emotion you may not have ever felt before. Maybe you've never been rejected before in love, but you want to create that emotion to create a song. That's what this card is all about. It's easy to create and imagine fear than it is to create and imagine love. And when that ego is put into its place, you will be able to tap into all of the creativity and inspiration that you need to find love and harmony. You can find inspiration in these cards. I'm telling you guys, it has helped me. I pull a card for myself every day, sometimes 3. Someone once told me there are as many paths to the divine as there are people on this earth. And I truly, truly believe that. And so I want you all to tap into every realm, every infinite possibility to your creativity and what the divine has for you, and step out of the limitations. Tap into the world card, which represents dancing on your limitations. Don't let anything limit you. If your heart is guiding you somewhere, follow it. It's never going to steer you wrong. And if it does, go back to whatever the hell you were doing. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to my channel. Please like and subscribe. Share it with someone that you care about and you love. Someone who also needs some inspiration for their music. And I will see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.